Welcome back. In the today's lecture, CHA 392, Section 2, Liquid Chromatography, Chapter 5, Mass Spectrometry LCMS Interface and Applications. I am Mr. V.D. Jadhav, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Chemistry, KTHM College, Nasik 2. Student, in the previous lecture, we have seen the use of cone voltage fragmentation in conjunction with high accuracy mass measurement and LCMS for metabolite identification. In today's lecture, we are study the topics quantitation, requirement of a quantitative method involving LCMS, quantitative standardization, and matrix effects in LCMS. Quantitation, the development of a quantitative method involving LCMS is, in principle, no different from developing a quantitative method using any other analytical technique. The intensity of signal from the analyte of interest in the unknown sample is compared with that from known amount of the analyte. The task of the analyst is to decide how this is best achieved, knowing the resources available and the purpose for which the results are required. Requirement of a quantitative method involving LCMS. The attributes required of a method usually include good sensitivity, low limit of detection, and selectivity. It must be recognized that while low limits of detection will usually require good sensitivity, the latter in itself does not guarantee low limit of detection, since these are often determined by the level of interfering material present and not the absolute sensitivity of the technique. Low limits of detection allow the analytes to be determined at levels at or below those considered to be harmful or prescribed by legislation, or at which it is found in particular matrix. Good selectivity allows the measured signal to be assigned with certainty to the analyte of interest, rather than any interfering compounds which may be present. Without this certainty, any interpretation of the analytical data may be questioned. The selectivity of the method may often be used to advantage to simplify sample workup prior to analysis. The issue of selectivity is one that is often difficult to address. Initial method development is invariably carried out by using standards made up with pure solvents, that is free from any matrix effects. It is often only when real samples are analyzed that the true extent of interferences becomes apparent, and the value of the method can be properly assessed. An added complication is that interferences, by their very nature, are not constant, and a number of samples may have a combination of interferences that defy analysis by methods that is otherwise successful on a routine basis. Other features of an analytical method that should be borne in mind are its linear range, which should be as large as possible. to allow samples containing a wide range of analyte concentrations to be analyzed without further manipulation and its precision and accuracy. Method development and validation require all of these parameters to be studied and assessed quantitatively. Quantitative methodology employing mass spectrometry usually involves selected ion monitoring or selected decomposition monitoring, in which a small number of ions or a decomposition of ions specific to the compounds of interest are monitored. It is the role of the analyst to choose these ions, decomposition ions, in association with chromatographic performance to provide sensitivity and selectivity such that when incorporated into a method, the required analysis may be carried out with adequate precision and accuracy. How then are these ions decompositions chosen? Before considering this, we must define very carefully the requirement of the analysis to be carried out. Is a single compounds to be determined, or are a number of compounds of interest? If a single compounds is involved, its mass spectrum and MS spectra can be obtained and scrutinized for any appropriate ions or decomposition. If the requirement is to determine a number of analytes, their chromatographic properties need to be considered if they are well separated. Different ions decompositions can be monitored for discrete time periods as each compound elutes, thus obtaining the maximum sensitivity for each analyte. If the analytes are not well separated, this approach may not be possible, and it may then be necessary to monitor a number of ions decompositions for the complete duration of the analysis. If this is the case, the analyst should attempt to find the smallest number of ions decompositions that give adequate performance for all of the analytes. In remember, the more ions decompositions monitored, then the lower the overall sensitivity will be. The specificity of the ions decomposition must be considered. Both electrospray ionization and atmospheric pressure chemical ionization are soft ionization techniques, and the resulting mass spectrum of an analyte is likely to consist of a single ion. The analyst must consider whether the presence of this single ion together with the retention time of the analyte is sufficiently specific. Since this ion is a molecular species, it is certainly more discriminating than a single ion from an electron ionization. Mass spectrum. Selected decomposition monitoring is inherently more specific in that two ions, a precursor, often a molecular species, and a product ion with a known relative intensity as well as a retention time are involved. Next, quantitative standardization. Adequate precision and accuracy are only likely to be achieved if some standardization procedure is employed, and the nature of these internal or external standards or this method of standard additions needs to be chosen carefully. If internal standardization procedures are adopted, then appropriate compounds must be chosen and their effect on the chromatographic and mass spectrometry method assessed. The ideal internal standard is an isotopically labeled analogs of the analyte, but although there are a number of commercial companies who produce a range of such molecules, these are not always readily available. An analytical laboratory is then faced with choice of carrying out the synthesis of the internal standard themselves or choosing a less appropriate alternative with implications on the accuracy and precision of the method to be developed. Next, matrix effects in LCMS. In many cases, when methods involve internal or external standards, the solution used to construct the calibration graph are made up in pure solvent, and the signal intensities obtained will not reflect any interaction of the analyte and internal standards with the matrix found in unknown samples or the effect that the matrix may have on the performance of the mass spectrometer. One way of overcoming this is to make up the calibration standards in solution throughout to reflect the matrix in which the samples are found. The major limitation of this is that the composition of the matrix may well vary widely, and there can be no guarantee that the matrix effects found in the sample to be determined are identical to those in the calibration standards. It is well known that electrospray ionization suffers from suppression effect when polar ionic compounds other than the analyte of interest, such as those originating from the sample matrix, and are present, with this phenomenon being attributed to competitive ionization of all of the appropriate species present. Matrix effects can therefore be considerable, and these have two distinct implications for quantitative procedures as follows. First one, a loss of absolute sensitivity may render some or all of the analytes of interest undetectable. And second one, the accuracy and precision of the determination may well be affected. One approach to the problem of matrix effect is to prevent the matrix materials reaching the electrospray source by carrying out some form of a cleanup prior to analysis, and or to employ chromatographic separation. It is not always possible, however, to develop a simple procedure for sample cleanup, and since this approach involves further workup with the associated increase in analysis time and potential for sample loss, it is therefore not ideal. The extent of matrix effects on the analysis of three pesticides, that is G-phenazide, hydroxyphenazide and methoxyphenazide, figure 5.56. This is three pesticides. Later on we see this figure 5.56 using LCMS with electrospray ionization has been investigated. A matrix extract was prepared from wheat forage material and then spiked with the analytes prior to LCMS MS analysis. Separation was carried out by using a 25 cm by 3 mm 5 micron C18 column with gradient elution at a flow rate of 0.5 ml per minute, with a post column split being employed to allow approximately 50 microliter per minute of the column eluate. to enter the electrospray source. The initial mobile phase was water acetonitrile 80H220 decreasing to 50% water at 6 minutes, 30% water at 10 minutes and 5% water at 16.5 minutes. Returning to 80% water at 20 minutes, the column eluate for the first 8 minutes was sent to waste to minimize possible contamination of the electrospray interface. With the retention time of the first eluting analyte, that is G-phenazide, being 9 minutes. It was found that increasing the sample injection volume brought about a significant increase in the amount of signal suppression observed for all of the analytes studied. The analytes were monitored in negative ion mode using the decomposition from the M-1 ion to mass to charge 149 for hydroxy and methoxyphenazide and the M-1 ion to mass to charge 353 for G-phenazide, with the differences in the signal obtained when 50 microliter volumes of 0.02 microgram per ml solutions of the analytes made up in acetonitrile water 1:1 and in wheat forage extract being shown in figure 5.57. This is figure 5.57 wheat forage extract. In each case, the signal from the sample dissolved in the matrix showed a decrease of approximately 90%. The origin of this reduction was probed further by post-column infusion of analyte into the HPLC eluate after 50 microliter injection of a wash of acetonitrile water 1:1 and of the matrix preparation. Examination of the results presented in figure 5.58, this is figure 5.58, indicates that no suppression is observed until 2 minutes into the analysis. The degree of suppression then remains virtually constant until 9 minutes into the analysis, until calculated 9 minutes into the analysis, after which it gradually decreases until after 15 minutes the signal from the injection of matrix material is around 60% of that from the injection of acetonitrile water. This behavior leads the authors to suggest that the suppression, rather than being due to co-elution of analytes and interference, is due to overloading of the HPLC column, which results in continuous elution of matrix materials and continuous suppression. This explanation was supported by reduced suppression effects being observed when the matrix extract was submitted to offline two-dimensional HPLC cleanup. It was also found that the suppression effects could be altered by the incorporation of different buffers into the mobile phase as shown in table 5.16. If this course of action is to be contemplated, the effect of these on the HPLC separation must also be considered. This work reinforces the view that chromatographic separation itself is not always sufficient to effect adequate cleanup to remove all matrix effects but that these will be reduced if the minimum possible injection volume is used. Here, one by one, we see first table 5.15. Here, relative signal responses from various injection volume for the LCMS MS analysis of a wheat forage matrix sample. This is analyte, methoxyphenozide, hydroxyphenozide and G-phenozide. Injection volume in microliter 5, 10, 50 and 100 for particular analyte. This A, here this A, signal response is expressed as a percentage of that obtained from standard samples. 100% is indicative of no signal suppression. Here, figure 5.56, structure of the three analytes pesticides used in an investigation of the matrix effect observed in LC-MS. This is three pesticides. First, methoxyphenozide, molecular weight 368. Second one, hydroxyphenozide, molecular weight 354. And third one, G-phenozide, having molecular weight 516. Here, effect of liquid chromatography separation of complex matrices on liquid chromatography, tandem mass spectrometry, signal suppression. This is copyright with permission from Elsewhere Science. This is also copyright with permission from Elsewhere Science. In figure 5.57, reconstructed ion chromatogram from the negative ion LC-MS analysis of A, G-phenozide, this A is for G-phenozide, B, hydroxyphenozide, this B for hydroxyphenozide, and C, methoxyphenozide, this is for methoxyphenozide. For structures, see figure 5.56. Their structure in this is structure of methoxyphenozide, hydroxyphenozide and G-phenozide. Acquired from here standard not given. This is also reprinted with permission, copyright with permission from Elsewhere Science. Here figure 5.58, reconstructed LC-MS ion chromatogram for selected reaction monitoring of methoxyphenozide using the mass to charge 367 to 149 transition from the continual post column infusion of a standard solution of analyte during the HPLC analysis of a blank wash acetonitrile water and matrix extract reprinted from Journal of Chromatography. This is analysis. In that case, blank wash is acetonitrile water. Here, this dotted line is one of the peak, and this thick line is also one of the peak. Relative signal response versus retention time. These all are the quantitation requirement of quantitative method involving LCMS, then quantitative standardization and matrix effect in LCMS. Here this today point is finished. Student, I provide all notes in your Google Classroom. Same, these notes are available in your Google Classroom. You read it one and more times If any difficulty, ask me or any other teacher, no problem. Related to chemistry teacher in the Department of Chemistry, KTHM College. Here, this one table is remain. Uh, this table show buffers. Table 5.16 show LC-MS signal responses obtained from wheat forage matrix samples using various mobile phase additives. Injection volume of 50 microliter. This LC-MS signal suppression effect in the analysis of pesticide in complex environmental matrices. This is also reproduced with permission. Springer. This is analyte methoxyphenozide, hydroxyphenozide, G-phenozide, and methoxy hydroxy. This is positive ion mode. This is negative ion mode, and this is acetonitrile water phase. This is buffer. This is mobile phase acetonitrile water, and this additives buffer formic acid, ammonium hydroxide, ammonium acetate, ammonium formate. This signal response is expressed as a percentage of that obtained from standard sample. 100% is indicative of no signal suppression, and B concentration of 0.01 volume percentage. Thank you.